Man in Kentucky is facing criminal charges after he shot down a drone that was hovering above his own yard. Now, he had a teenage daughter who was in the backyard sunbathing at the time, and apparently there were other neighbors that were concerned about the drone because it was also hovering above their property at one point. So William Merideth of Kentucky thought that, you know what, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. If this drone is above my home, I'm going to go ahead and shoot it down. So he grabbed his rifle and he did just that. The drone was hovering above the house and it stayed for a few moments, and then my daughter finally waved and it took off. That's according to one neighbor that was in the area. And then William Merideth said, I had my Glock on me and they started toward me and I told them, if you cross my sidewalk, there's going to be another shooting. That was his response to the people who owned the drone and basically wanted to confront him, and then decided maybe confronting him is not the best idea. Okay. So it's interesting because he initially was like, all right, I'm not going to do anything about it unless it hovers above my property because this is a privacy issue. This is my yard. I have, you know, a fence put up for a reason. I want my privacy. And why should someone who owns a drone have the ability to peek into my private property? I think he has an interesting point, although shooting down a drone could be extremely dangerous because A, you don't know where it's going to land or crash, and it could hurt someone. And also, just shooting bullets into the air is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Not ideal at all.
Yeah. But it does bring up a really fascinating debate about surveillance, privacy, you know, what he should have done in a situation like that. Because I have to be honest with you, if I had a young girl or daughter sunbathing in the backyard and there's this creepy drone hovering right above her, I'm probably going to want to take action, but I don't know what action I should take.
Well, that was my thing. This is twofold for me. Because the first part of me when I read it, I was like, here we go, another trigger-happy American. We're just going to take our gun out and we're going to shoot something in the sky, and then you come and approach me about getting my property back, and I'm going to threaten you and shoot you again. And that got to me. But then the second thing is that I started going down this rabbit hole of like the rules and regulations around civilian drones. And it, like you just started to say, it's really fascinating because I would definitely want to... I think my mic fell, so
Oh,
I'm gonna let
no.
you all go.
All right. So let's just,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
to talk about the regulation it's kind of a hot mess, right? Like they don't really know right now what to do about the drone situation. I mean, they're proliferating at such a rapid rate, and everyone has one, it feels like, on some level. I mean, it's the brand new toy, and it can be really fun, and you can shoot some super cool footage, but then you can also totally
invade someone's privacy.
Yeah, and you can attack. There are videos on YouTube of people attaching guns to them and doing like.
it's disastrous.
If you weaponize a drone, now you can really take it to a scary place.
Yeah, weaponizing it takes it to another level. Just the mere thought of using it for surveillance is scary, especially when you have the question of private property and whether or not the drone crosses a line. And in this case, I feel like the drone crosses a line.
His property line.
Yeah, exactly. You should be comfortable in your backyard or your yard, especially if you have a fence put there for privacy reasons. And so the drone debate is very similar to most technology debates, where the technology advances quicker than what politicians can do to regulate it.
Exactly.
So there aren't enough regulations about civilian drones, so things like this can be avoided, you know, where people will know exactly what they can do. Now, there are some indications that it's not supposed to be flown over buildings, and I don't know if the person using the drone broke any laws, and I guess there needs to be an investigation into that. But there should be some sort of law that prevents that from happening. You shouldn't be able to use surveillance drones to peek into someone's yard. It's that simple.
Agreed. But I also don't think that you should shoot them down.
I agree with that. Because
That's why
wasn't
I
a great
said
decision.
it was like double fold for me, because it's like, you're right, don't want this over my yard. I'm protecting my children, I'm protecting my space, but to pull out your gun and let that be the recourse, it just can't be. Because like you said, if it would have fallen on someone and hurt them, now he would have been liable, and there would have been a whole nother issue here.
Oh yeah, I mean, the man's in jail, right?
I mean, yeah, he's in jail.
So
but
he's already screwed in that way, and I think in some ways he'll become a bit of a folk hero because he was protecting his family. And I agree, I get why he was creeped out. Of course, escalating a situation with firearms is something that tends to happen in America. If that drone had been flying around in Europe or another country that doesn't have a gun control issue, then no, it probably wouldn't have been shot down. That would have been possibly, I don't know, a conversation. Speaking of conversations, the people who own this drone, if you want, they said they were like allegedly taking photos of a friend's house or whatever. Talk to people. Please
Yeah.
just have a
Exactly. Just
conversation.
communicate.
Knock on a door and say, hey, we're doing this thing with a drone. I don't want to freak you out. I just want you to know that we're
I'm really glad
shooting.
you made that point because
Can we all just talk to each other?
Because that was the next big thing of like, if you just would have had a conversation with them, you could have avoided this. So the fact that you didn't communicate makes it look sneaky.
Yeah. I should also note though, so drones, of course, it's one part of this conversation, but another part is something like Google Satellite View and how you can Google anyone's address and get a street view of their home. And oftentimes you can peek into their yard doing that, right? And that kind of worries me as well. So the privacy debate is a really important debate to have. And there are fine lines that I feel like are being crossed on a regular basis. And even though the execution of what he did wasn't appropriate, I think his heart is in the right place.
Agreed.
And
I
I
agree.
ultimately agree with him. He says our rights are being trampled daily, not on a local level, but on a state and federal level. We need to have some laws in place to handle these kinds of things. You know, when you're in your own property, within a 6-foot privacy fence, you have the expectation of privacy, which is true. We don't know if he was looking at the girls. We don't know if he was looking at something to steal. To me, it was the same as trespassing.
Agreed.
And I would feel just as violated as he did. Do not shoot down the drone. You can hurt someone. You can hurt yourself. But at the same time, I'm absolutely with him when it comes to
I agree.
updating laws to deal with civilian drones.
It was kind of badass, though.
Yeah. It's like,
Badass move. I mean, I don't want to romanticize it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of badass. Some flies over your yard and you take it out. Okay. All right.
Well, we want to know whether or not you guys think it's badass. We asked a poll on our TYT app, so we want you to chime in. Please go ahead and vote. The question is, a man was arrested for shooting a drone hovering over his sunbathing daughters. Is it ever okay to demolish drones that are invading privacy? An astounding 91% say yes, it is okay.
But that's also.
So demolish, how do you demolish? Right, I guess.
But that's
Right.
also misleading. Like, it's like, because of course, if someone's going after your sunbathing daughter,
Yeah.
your naked daughter, of course you're going to shoot it down, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So you guys now know the facts of the story. The poll is up. You can chime in. You can vote. I'm very curious to see how the poll changes based on the details we gave you.